Angry Bears Fan Podcast episode 159. Like, follow, subscribe. We finally hit 25K,
Yes, sir.
quarter of the way to 100K. Get us a little YouTube button or something. So please, please keep helping us grow. But why we doing all this? The reason why we're doing all this is Chicago Bears training camp is underway, and we got some horrible news coming down the pipeline today. Kobe Bryant. Originally, they thought it was going to be 8 to 10 weeks, which ideally would have been by week 3 or 4. Has turned into the whole season. Then we'll be back by the playoffs. I think we all hope we're going to be a playoff team. So even if that happens, does he even come back and play? Will we take out whoever had been playing all year? Highly unlikely, unless they were terrible, which I don't envision, but we'll see. Some good news. I saw Ozzy Trapillo's. They said that he might come back and do some stuff in
Yeah,
training camp.
so yeah, apparently he's way ahead of schedule. It's weird, you get the news about Kobe Bryant, and I want to know where the disconnect was, where we got the 8 to 10 weeks initially, and then now it's 4 to 6 months. Which, when you look at the time frame, for 6 to 8 weeks is about 2 to 4 months or whatever. So it almost doubled in timeline in terms of that. So I want to know exactly what's going on with the knee. But then, you get the news about Ozzy Trapillo coming back from that patellar tendon, which is not an easy injury to come back from. Many a career have been
Especially for a
ended.
large guy like him.
Yes, many a career have been ended, but there is talk about him returning by the end of training camp to at least start getting ready for the season. But I still would expect him to probably miss. There's no way he's in football shape. There's no way he can get in football shape. You know what I'm saying? I would expect him to at least miss half the season.
At this point, I would want them to rest him
Don't rush
anyway.
it.
Yeah,
Don't
no,
rush it.
there's no reason for the first time in maybe our whole entire lives. The offensive line isn't a weakness. I think if Willis or Braxton Jones is out there. Although we'd rather have Ozzy, they're perfectly fine NFL players and will be just fine out there. No reason to rush him back hurt. And another thing, Luther Burden, think pulled groin, something like that. He's out for the preseason. Um, at best, hopefully it's not anything worse. It's not what we wanted to see. Um, the one thing I know we traded DJ Moore, but the one thing we got with him was he was a pros pro. Consistent as there was. He always played. He was always out there. Um, and unfortunately, and we can even throw Colston Loveland in this, the group of guys we got right now aren't the beacon of health. Um, Rome has missed 10 games in his 2 years here. Um, Burden missed 3 or 4 last year. Loveland missed 2 or 3. Um, so just something to look at. I don't know what it is, but last year we bounced back from the injury bug, or we overcame it. I don't know if bounce back's a good word, but we overcame it. Hopefully, good coaching will do the same thing this year. But just kind of put a damper on going into the first game of the preseason with Kobe Bryant being out for the year, Burden not going to be playing at all. Which I think is a good thing. I think it's going to mean we're going to see a lot of Jaday. We're going to see a lot of Xavion. And I think they both need to work in the offense anyway to take on that Luther Burden role because like I just said, he gets hurt, so we're gonna need them to be ready to go.
Yeah, Jade took a lot of reps with the ones today, according to training camp reports and stuff. And you know me, I liked Jade Walker last year.
I think the Bears in general, he's one of those weird. We're the Bears. I'm sure every franchise has it, but we do where it's like this guy who isn't that good, and it's like we love him. He was a story, him sleeping on Caleb's couch, his celebrations, and it's like we're all rooting for him. So I'm excited to see that's gonna be his show all preseason. I don't
Yeah,
imagine he's gonna be sitting down at all. He's gonna be playing like the whole game.
yeah, and that you know what I'm saying. It'll be exciting, and preseason's always vanilla. You know what I'm saying. That Ben Johnson's not gonna break out his bag of tricks or anything. We'll see very basic concepts in the preseason, but what I'm really looking towards is the execution of those basic concepts. in particular in the run game. You know what I'm saying? Because we need to, we need to build off the strength that we had last year, which was our run game. So, got to make sure that fundamentals are good going into the season. That's what the preseason's all about. You'll get a lot of information about the mental toughness of these guys, how much they've really slacked off in the offseason if they have. You could see the work that a lot of these unknown guys are putting in. You could tell from the passion, the fire that they're playing with, or if they're just giving up whether or not they're going to make the roster. And we always root for those underdogs. You had just mentioned it. The whole Jaday Walker thing from last year. Now he's running with the ones while Luther Burden is out. Xavion Thomas. A lot of preseason hype so far in training camp. So that'll be exciting to see what kind of utilization he has in Ben Johnson's offense. Um, Probably won't see a whole lot of Caleb, week one preseason against Cleveland. You'll see a lot of, Bajent. He'll probably play most of the game. I don't even know who their like third quarterback is. Um,
Miller Moss, right?
I
Or
don't even
Moss.
remember at this point.
Caleb's backup at USC is one of them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. You're
Um,
right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
or is it Riley?
Um,
Riley Moss? I forgot Moss. Something Moss.
yeah, you're right. Now that I think
Uh,
about it, so you'll probably see Caleb first series, if at all. You'll see Bajent first three quarters, majority, and then the fourth quarter you'll see the third stringers, third, fourth, and fifth stringers, guys trying to make the roster and stuff like that on special teams. But preseason, I love preseason football because you and me, we're both kind of those underdog guys. We love the underdogs. And it's fun to see these guys get an opportunity to live out not just our dream, but their dream as well. So it'll be really interesting to see what's in store for this preseason. A lot of preseason hype on the Bears. We talked about Caleb Williams being on the cover of Madden. A lot of NFL pundits, experts, analysts, and stuff like that are hyping up Caleb for the season. Colin Cowherd, national guys, they're all talking about how Caleb can potentially break himself into the top five, quarterback conversation this year. A lot of MVP talk, possibility of being MVP, all this stuff. So I'm just hoping that because we've seen this before, right? We've seen all this, preseason hype and everything else like that, and then we kind of fell flat on our face. I'm really interested to see, Sean, if this season is going to be different. I think it will. I think Ben Johnson really has these guys leveled and grounded. I think that they are, for the most part, pretty humble. But I'm looking for big years, man. Big years on offense from Caleb Colson. Luther Burden is a
Rome.
breakout candidate. Rome.
I think if Rome stays healthy, have a big year, and I agree with everything you're saying. I think it uh it goes with what something you said earlier that like we have to remember that I know we know Caleb's on the cover, we need the 4K yards, but like we were a running team, we were really good at that. And that's how we dominated most games. So I don't, Ben Johnson doesn't seem like the type, but I just hope that as an organization, as a team, Caleb, Ben don't get enamored with trying to make sure Caleb ascends to the next level. Like if he just cleans up his accuracy, we're a contender just based on how we
Absolutely.
played last year. And of course, I want him to be new Mahomes, Josh Allen. I pray that's what he is, but I also like don't want to we need him to ball out, but our run game was elite last year. Swift played great, some of his best year, one of the best years he's ever had. When one guy missed a couple of games, we almost had 2,000 yard rushers. So I don't want, and we got a new gadget guy in Xavion Thomas, Burden, Springy. There's a lot of trick plays and stuff we can do that doesn't even, you know what I mean, doesn't even force us to throw attack down the field and all that stuff. But yeah, I think we need to stay grounded and remember what we do best. Um, because I don't we can't do the fourth quarter thing all over again. I don't think teams
No,
are going to
not
let
all
that
season.
happen. So the offense is going to have to be good to start the game. We can't keep hoping to fight back. We need to come out, Caleb and Ben, and score on these opening drives. Get a couple points in the first quarter or second quarter instead of having to play Superman because more than likely it's not going to work again. I know we said that every week. You know what I mean? We made a video where like, oh, this we can't keep doing this, and we'll continue to say it, but we want to see the maturity, and that's what everybody's saying about Caleb. He's lost weight. He's saying all the right things as he always has. Everybody is though. Everybody seems locked in. The guys are working hard. Um, and we'll get to see. I know it won't be a lot of the starters in the Saturday game, but it'll be the mindset, the tone that these guys set, what how it's going on in camp, and what we can look forward to the next week in the preseason.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with everything you pretty much put on there. We'll have a little bit more to talk about, of course, next week when we have the tape to break down from this upcoming preseason game on Saturday. If you want to shift over a little bit to baseball, White Sox, they end up losing. They get swept by the Red Sox, lost four straight. Then they come back and take two out of three against the Guardians after losing the first game. White Sox still in first place. They control their destiny. Cubs, they're fighting. I think they're 5 games back in the
Yeah,
Milwaukee
four and a
Brewers
half or
right
five
now.
games back, I think.
They're fighting for their division. They're definitely gonna make the playoffs. But like I said, White Sox control their destiny. Luis Castillo had a rough first start with the team. We saw their number one pitching prospect in Hagan Smith. We got to see him pitch. He came in relief of Davis Martin. Davis Martin
Has been
struggling
lately.
on the struggle bus. I guess there was some, things about him tipping his pitches. A teammate, pointed it out, this, that, and the other. They're working on it. But Davis Martin's got to get better if we expect to do anything in the playoffs. Not that we don't. It's very possible, but the pitching needs to be better. Starting pitching needs to get better. Their bullpen has been okay recently, ever since they got rid of Sir Anthony Dominguez. But Hagan Smith, 2 innings. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Noah Schultz, where he's getting a lot of strikeouts, but he is also getting a lot of walks. They sent down Noah Schultz. They optioned him to AAA. Brought up Hagan Smith. What are your initial, and that very small sample size, Sean? I don't know if you were able to catch it, but were you impressed with what you saw, or is this something that's going to be a work in progress?
I mean, we need, like you said, we need something from them, and we need guys who can swing and miss. I think walking guys is something you can get under control, more so than making guys miss. That's a skill that's hard to come by. So I was impressed. I was kind of sad to see Noah Schultz come down. He was kind of doing better. I think he hit a rough patch where he was just going against some tough teams. I mean, the Red Sox are one of the hottest teams in baseball. If not, I'm pretty sure they're the hottest team in baseball right now. And they really put it on us. A couple of games we were okay, but they were really just lighting us up. Um, but I didn't get to watch too much of it, but I know we're 3.5 games up still, like you said, that's in our own hands. And I mean, it just doesn't look like anybody's gonna make a surge. Anytime we play bad, like you said, we got swept in four, we come back, we win the next series. Um, they beat who they're supposed to beat. And they just got outplayed by the Red Sox, which is better right now.
Yeah, I mean Detroit's coming back to life a little bit. It's ironic they get rid of their two best players and they're still in the hunt. Tarek Skubal's gotten roughed up a couple of times now, once against the Cubs and then again against the Guardians. So it's interesting to see that Detroit's in the mix, second place now. They were pretty much dead a month ago, and they've come back to life a little bit. Moving on to the Cubs, PCA just continues to be PCA, man. I like. And here's the thing: we talk about MVP conversations and everything else like that. And I know I made a statement a couple of years ago that in my honest opinion, there is no other MVP other than Shohei Otani. As long as Shohei Otani continues to play baseball, both hitting and pitching. I don't know if he's been shut down necessarily pitching wise, but if there's ever a case for somebody who is not named Shohei Otani to win MVP this year so far. It would be PCA. I just think that, if Shohei continues to pitch and, bat the way that he does, there's no way you can give a most valuable player trophy to anybody other than that. But PCA is certainly making a strong case for it this year. Your quick thoughts on the Cubs. I know we didn't plan
I
on
don't
this one
lock
being
in
a
much with
too
them,
long
but
one.
I know our fan base, if they're still locked in right now, they always ask me if I'm a Cubs fan because I post a lot of PCA shorts, but he's just, I got to go with the algorithm sometimes, and he's hot. And Cubs fans like watching our videos. But yes, I mean, PCA has been electric. I mean, he's been saying and doing everything. And like you said, with uh, Shohei, it's just disingenuous to give it to anybody else when he pitches. You know what I mean? When he's got a under 4.3 RA, gets 10 wins pitching, and hits 35 home runs and 100 RBIs. Like it makes no sense to give it to anybody else. I know it sucks to have no like parity where he's winning it every time, but this year he's got a case. He hasn't pitched in a while. He's on tear on it. PCA's on a tear defensively as well. Is hitting a lot of home runs, playing big in big games. He was one of the guys who roughed up Scooble. They swept the Dodgers. So I mean it'd be I think and I'm not even a Cubs fan. I think he's the MVP right now. I know it's because we're kind of used to what Shohei does, and I think that kind of plays into it. They do it in all other sports. You kind of like, okay, we seen you do that. Like you got to do something better. We can't just keep giving you MVP every year. So I think, like you said, this is a good year where he's kind of down. He hasn't pitching a lot, where maybe they can be like, all right, you didn't pitch. You only pitched a couple weeks. You only got a couple wins. We can give it to somebody else this year. Because it's not like he's a stud on defense. So
Yeah.
you can kind of have a crazy defensive year. You might be able to steal it away from him.
But yeah, that's all I got for now.
Yeah, another slow week, just training camp. Bears were out at the high school. What was it, Lincolnshire or something? They were out for one of the days. Looked a little fun. Nothing going on with the Bulls or the Blackhawks really. Just getting ready for the season. But as Tom mentioned before, we'll have much more to talk about next week after we get to watch some live game, go through some of these guys fighting some of these position battles. We'll have our eyes on some of these safeties and DBs. These guys might have to step up and be real contributors. So again, thank you for helping us get to 25K. Like, follow, subscribe if you're someone who hasn't done that already. And we will see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Adios.
Adios.